Hi, my name is Kevin Dresser. I'm a solution architect at Megaport, and I'm going to show you how to deploy a Megaport Cloud Router with connections to AWS and DigitalOcean infrastructure. What I'm going to do is highlighted here in this diagram on our documentation page. So there's a Megaport Cloud Router, and there's going to be two VXCs created, one to DigitalOcean and another one to AWS. So to get this started, our portal dashboard, I'm going to pick a location of Ashburn, Virginia, and that'll bring me into some data center locations where I can choose to select create an MCR at core site and VA1. And then I'm going to select the throughput capabilities of my MCR, anywhere from 1 to 100 gigabits per second. For the demo, I'm going to choose 1 gig, and I'm going to give the MCR a name, set my billing term, and I'm going to assign a private AS number for my BGP peering. I could use the default provided by Megaport. I'm going to choose next, add the MCR, and then I'm going to actually jump into my services and continue. I'm going to filter by my initials here. I'm going to actually add the connections in my setup before it's deployed. And so what I can do is I can actually go in and select DigitalOcean as my cloud destination. And you can see I'm going to need a service key to complete this. So if I hop over to the DigitalOcean console, I can jump into the networking portion and choose Multicloud integrations. And then I want to choose create a partner attachment. So my region at DigitalOcean is New York, and I've got a VPC with resources in here already created. I'm going to select the bandwidth capabilities of this connection. I'll choose 1 gig. There's information here related to the BGP peering, but I do want to set the AS number that I put in on my cloud router. We've got the peering IP addresses already populated, and then I want to give the name, the actual resource a name. I'm just going to put my initials on the front end of this, and then I'm just going to select create partner attachment. So that's going to kick off the actual creation of resources on the DigitalOcean side. Once this is completed, I can go ahead and take the pairing key and then drop it into the Megaport portal, and it is ready to go. So if I just jump into this section, here's the service key. I can just copy that, paste it right in here, and you can see it's going to create the parameters that I'm looking for, landing in New York City, and I'm going to choose next. Again, I need to give resources a name, so this is a DigitalOcean partner attachment. I set this for 1 gigabit for the speed. Going to go month to month on the billing terms. And I want to set my IP addressing based on the information here in the portal here for DigitalOcean. So this is actually going to be my address that I want to assign to the Megaport Cloud Router. And I also want to configure the BGP connection. So I'm going to go populate this information. So these are my peering IP addresses, my cloud router, and the opposite end at DigitalOcean. I also want to grab this AS number that I'm going to be peering with. And the last thing I need is the BGP authentication key, and that should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and add the connection, or at least add the BGP peering parameter, add the VXC. So now I've got this ready to go. Last piece of this is to add the connection into AWS. So I'm going to choose cloud, Amazon Web Services here. I'm going to choose hosted VIF, and I'm in core site already, so this is the most optimal path. It's physically in the same data center. So I'm just going to select that, choose next. Again, I want to give a logical name for these resources. I'm going to set the bandwidth at 1 gig on this side as well. Choose next, add the connection. And for an AWS connection, I do need to drop in the account ID. And then I need the peering AS number on the AWS side. That's my direct connect gateway. BGP key and peering IP information, I can manually type this in, or I can leave it blank and Megaport will auto-generate all this information for me. So I'm going to go ahead and choose next, add the VXE. So I've got all my resources staged up, ready to go. They haven't been deployed yet. Everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and kick off the validation of the order. And one last check, everything looks good. I'm going to choose order now. And so what's happening is we're actually deploying the virtual routing instance for the Megaport Cloud Router, and we're deploying 2 VXEs. One's going to AWS via the Direct Connect service. The other one is going to DigitalOcean via the partner attachment service. So we're going to give it a couple minutes here before this spins up. And it looks like the DigitalOcean connection is up and running. If I hop over to the portal there, yeah, it looks like it's established. And there's no routes learned yet because the AWS connection hasn't been completed. So if I go ahead and jump over to my AWS console, you can see I've got a direct connect here that I just provisioned, and I can go in and accept this. I just need to map it to a direct connect gateway, and this is in a pending state, so that should be available in a couple of minutes. And if I just take a quick look at my direct connect gateway, you can see I've got attachments to 2 different VPCs. So I'm going to jump back over to the portal, and you can see the connection has been established. If I jump over to my MCR and Looking Glass, I should be able to see some of the BGP peering information. You can see I do have BGP established with the DigitalOcean attachment there. But in a few more minutes, I should begin to see routes coming over from AWS. You can see I'm actually learning the information from my VPC over at DigitalOcean, and you can see right there. So this is my partner network attachment, and you can see this is the VPC that's associated, and this is the subnet here that I'm advertising to my cloud router. So just give it a few more minutes, and then I should see my AWS routes populate. Okay, everything is now fully established. I've got BGP into AWS and DigitalOcean. You can see I'm learning routes now from my direct connect, these 2 networks here. So everything looks good on the cloud router. I can jump over into my AWS console and check my route table here. If I just do a refresh on this section here, yeah, here are, this network right here is the VPC over at DigitalOcean. And if I jump back over to my console here for the partner attachment, there we go. Got my Amazon routes being learned on this side. So at this point, we are complete. We've deployed a Megaport Cloud Router in the East Region, Ashburn, Virginia. I've got a connection into AWS. I've got a connection into my DigitalOcean region in New York, and I've got full adjacency, so my workloads can connect to each other over the private connectivity provided by Megaport.